A person can go from forgettable to unforgettable, or from perfectly fine to a total letdown, without changing a single thing about themselves. All it takes is who or what showed up right before them. You've dated someone completely average right after a brutal breakup, and they somehow felt like a revelation, like the universe finally sent you someone decent. You've interviewed 2 candidates back to back and walked away convinced the second one was mediocre, even though on paper their answers were just as strong as the first, maybe stronger. You've had the exact same glass of wine taste incredible after a bad one and forgettable after a great one, on the same night, at the same table. Nothing about the wine changed. Nothing about the candidate changed. Your brain moved the goalposts without telling you, and you never even noticed the shift happening. Psychologists call this the contrast effect, and it was formally mapped out by researcher Harry Helson in 1964 through what he called Adaptation-Level Theory, the idea that your brain almost never judges anything in isolation. It judges everything against whatever it just experienced, using that as an invisible baseline you didn't consciously choose. In 1980, researchers Douglas Kenrick and Sarah Gutierrez at Arizona State University ran a study that showed just how far this bleeds into the most personal judgments you make. Male participants rated the attractiveness of an average-looking woman's photo. One group rated her cold, no priming, no setup. Another group watched an episode of Charlie's Angels first, 3 glamorous, professionally styled actresses on screen for 30 minutes, and then rated the exact same photo. Men who just watched the show rated her noticeably less attractive than the group who saw her fresh. In a follow-up experiment, men who'd been exposed to images of very attractive women rated their own actual romantic partners as less satisfying, less appealing, sometimes less loved, with 0 change in the relationship itself, 0 new information, nothing different except what their eyes had landed on 30 minutes earlier. Have you ever scrolled through an app or a feed full of curated, filtered people, then looked at your actual partner or your own reflection in the mirror, and felt a flicker of disappointment that had absolutely nothing to do with them and everything to do with what you'd just been staring at? The second study takes the same distortion out of dating and drags it into the boardroom, where people like to believe they're being objective. In 1972, researchers Kenneth Wexley, Gary Yuckel, Richard Kovacs, and Robert Sanders had interviewers evaluate a series of taped, scripted job candidate interviews. One candidate was designed to be exactly average, solid, unremarkable answers, nothing flashy, nothing bad. The trick was the order in which he appeared. When that average candidate was shown right after 2 weak, stumbling candidates, interviewers rated him as impressive, even strong, someone worth hiring immediately. When the identical tape was shown right after 2 highly qualified, polished candidates, interviewers rated him as underwhelming, even a poor fit, someone they'd pass on. Same words, same tone, same resume, same pauses in the same places, completely different verdict, decided entirely by who happened to walk through the door right before him. Have you ever walked out of an interview, a pitch, or a first date absolutely certain you'd bombed or crushed it, only to realize later it was never really about you? It was about whoever happened to go right before you, someone you never even met. Here's the part that should actually bother you. Your brain isn't built to measure things on an absolute scale. It's built to measure difference, and fast. For most of human history, that was a smarter investment of brain power than precision ever would have been. You didn't need to know the exact size of a predator. You needed to know instantly whether it was bigger or smaller than the last one you outran. In the half-second, you had to decide whether to run. You didn't need to calculate the precise ripeness of a fruit. You needed to know if it was better than the last one that made you sick. Relative judgment is cheap, quick, and usually good enough to keep you alive. The problem is that the modern world hands you a steady diet of extreme, curated comparisons. Highlight reels, dating app grids, back-to-back interviews, influencer feeds engineered to be the most flattering version of a person. And your ancient shortcut can't tell the difference between a fair comparison and a rigged one. It just reacts to whatever showed up last and reports back a confident verdict that feels exactly like objective truth, even when it's just leftover residue from the thing before it. So here's the 2-second move. Before you finalize a judgment about a person, a candidate, a date, a purchase, or even yourself, stop and ask, what did I just look at right before this? Not in a vague, mindful breathing way. Literally name it out loud if you have to. If the honest answer is 3 stunning actresses, a killer resume, a highlight reel, or a way better version of this same thing, you're not actually rating the thing in front of you. You're rating the gap between it and whatever came first. And gaps lie constantly. Give whatever you're judging a second look completely cold, with no lineup in front of it, no recent comparison haunting your read, before you decide it's actually mediocre or actually amazing. Think about who this has happened to in your own life. The underrated friend who always seems to get compared unfavorably to someone louder in the room. The partner who looked incredible right after your last relationship ended, and maybe still does for reasons that have nothing to do with them. The coworker who got quietly written off in a meeting because they spoke right after the office star had the room's full attention. Tell us that story in the comments. Who's the person you now realize you misjudged only because of who or what came right before them? Tag them if you're brave enough, and tell us what actually happened.